information. So, Carly, give the group some background information about yourself.
Sure. Thank you for having me, first of all.
You're welcome.
I am a Vienna, Virginia native. I now live in Arlington, Virginia. So just doing work mostly in the DMV area. I work for a in-house marketing firm for the ICF consulting company.
Hmm.
I'm working from home right now, like many of us are. I also do some freelance work on the side for a couple of different apps and a clothing brand um, that I don't even, for the apps, I don't think I can talk too much about because they're kind of,
Okay.
they're like work
Okay.
in progress. But the clothing brand I work for is a Green Body brand, and it's a sustainable clothing brand
Oh,
that's linked
wow.
with Plantarian, which is kind of like a vegan archive for the DMV area. Um, but yeah, I can get more into that. I guess I
Yeah,
should
please.
talk about
'Cause-
myself a little bit more, but
yeah, talk about yourself a little bit more and
yeah.
then tell us about the sustainable clothing.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I've been a graphic designer for my whole career, which admittedly isn't too long, about 2 years I've been in the industry,
Okay.
excluding my internships while I was at school at Virginia Tech. I studied graphic design there. So I'm one of my few friends that studied what they actually do now, which is fun. Feels like I didn't waste all the stress of paying the student loans back.
Right,
Yeah, all
exactly.
those years in college. But yeah, it's really great. It's always been something that growing up, I didn't really think of it as a career path. I loved to draw as a child, and I kind of kept it to myself. I didn't really show anyone. Like even my parents would kind of like knock on my door and be like, "What are you doing?" And I would like
Yeah.
hunch over my desk and not want to show them. But I'm happy that I had the like teacher support systems to encourage me to pursue that path because I didn't even really know like it was an option.
Oh,
I thought that I was
cool.
like, oh well, I'm just like bad at math and science. I don't know what I'm gonna do, which I feel like maybe
Cool.
it is a shared emotion, at least a lot with a lot of the designers I know.
See, teachers are so important in today's
Hmm.
society. They really are. They're undervalued. But I think during the pandemic, if you have kids at home in school, um, any parent would probably pay a teacher $1 million a year right about now.
Oh my gosh, I know. I have a younger sister who's a senior in high school, and my parents have just had it with her because she
Yeah.
just I mean she's almost there. She's applying for colleges and she's got her foot out the door, but who even knows if she's going to be able to go back to school. We'll see, I guess.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. And then they're stuck with you because I have friends like that. Their
Hmm.
kids were they enrolled, they graduated last springs
Hmm.
and they enrolled, but they're still at the house with them. And they're
Yeah.
like, we were trying to do the empty nester thing and this has backfired on us.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get it.
Yeah. Love my
So
sister to death though. If she sees this, I don't want her to get upset with me.
yes, we love you, sister. We love you. Um, so let's go back to the sustainable clothing and the design work that you do for them. Explain more about that.
Sure, yeah. So it was actually someone reached out to me and was talking to me about this startup. At the time, Green Body brand was kind of just an idea that they were thinking could be a good way to generate revenue so that they can expand on. They have a Plantarian as a website that you can go to, and it will help you search for different like vegan lifestyle resources, whether it's like a life coach or nutritionist, or even like for like food for like chefs or catering, things like that.
Okay.
They also have a podcast, which this is what really kind of sold me was they they have a podcast where they go and they kind of interview different vegan chefs in the DMV area, or influencers. just like anything that's going to promote like a sustainable, healthy lifestyle. And that got me really interested. I'm not vegan myself, but I am pescatarian, and
Okay.
I try to be as sustainable and conscious about my own actions and how that affects the environment. So working for them was a really exciting opportunity for me. It felt like I was giving back a little bit, especially since they're a more locally focused website and podcast. And then the Green Body brand kind of became something that I'm solely working on now, where
Mm-hmm.
we are creating t-shirts, sweatshirts, like anything that you can. It's all through Shopify currently. We're working on getting
Okay.
some offline and moving into Etsy as well. But all of the designers I work with are really talented, and it's just an exciting time to just like t-shirt design can really be anything you want. So it's really
Mm-hmm.
fun to see what everyone comes up with, and then all like chat about it together. It's pretty free form, so pretty much everyone goes off about their week, designs t-shirts however they'd like them, and then we come back together and talk about it, talk it through. And all of the vendors that we use are green. They're in the USA, and we only do small batches. It's all made to order.
Okay.
So it's a more green option.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the designs that we do are vegan centric. So they've become popular with a lot of like vegan influencers and things like that who want to really promote their lifestyle.
Cool.
But yeah, again, not vegan, but we're trying to be like as inclusive to everyone as possible, because you don't necessarily have to be vegan to care about the environment. There are steps
Exactly.
we can take to do that. And we also want to be we want to kind of take down the stigma of the vegan lifestyle, which I think for a long time has been kind of perceived as a little like hoity-toity and
Mm.
only accessible to certain people. And we really want to expand that to like all genders, ethnicities, races, and uh, social classes. So yeah, it's very exciting. I've always loved animals and want to take care of the earth. So that's been a passion project of mine that I'm very happy to be a part of.
Well, it's such a blessing to be able to, do work that's associated with your passion. I
Hmm.
think it helps drive and motivates us so much more to do, just that much more.
Hmm.
So I know we can't talk about your mobile app design projects in particular, but if you could give us examples of the types of mobile apps or anything that helps someone in the group to understand how you might provide value to a potential client who's looking for mobile app design. And also, you've done print, you've done web, you've done a really huge gamut of things. So, just start us off with mobile apps and then let's go into other different forms of
Hmm.
deliverables and just so we can get a sense of that.
Sure. Yeah, well, I think that my Behance shows a lot of different projects, honestly, because my Virginia Tech professors were really great at making sure that we had a wide range of skills. So they had us work hard in all different areas and would give us like very extended deadlines so we can really hone in on them. And it is something where you realize that one thing is not for you and something you absolutely love. Like I couldn't get into web design. I tried so hard.
uh,
Yeah, but
what about it caused you not to be able to get into it?
I don't know. I think that my first instinct would be to say just the the difficulty of designing a whole web page that looks great when you see the whole thing like long waits, and then it also looks great as you're scrolling through no matter where you stop.
Mhm.
um and also I think my eyes are just always bigger than my coding abilities with
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I can do this and that. And then when I try to get into like the HTML of it, I know a little bit of Java, and that's mostly just copy and pasting from things that other people have done.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a lot, and I have trouble between like toggling between the code and what I'm seeing on the screen, which
Yeah.
honestly, maybe I need to give it another shot now that I work for a corporation. They provided me with a second screen that I can use, because before I was
Okay.
just hunched over on my little laptop in
Yeah,
school. But
that is hard. That is
yeah.
very hard. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah,
Okay.
I was always more drawn to apps.
Mm-hmm.
The user experience aspect of them is really interesting to me. I like to be able to think. I think that most designers probably can relate to this, but user experience design is a really good way to like hone in and empathize with other people. Which honestly, it feels like almost like meditational sometimes, like
Hmm.
thinking
Okay.
about like how like this is so obvious to me, but why wouldn't it be obvious to someone else? And just the surprise of when you go through user testing is always so interesting to me, because then there are some things where I thought that it should be this way, and then someone else is like, no, obviously it should be this way, and that removes like these two steps, and I'm like, wow,
Mm.
you're totally right. So it is, I think it really is an exercise of empathy. It's really interesting to me. I always have liked like anthropology, psychology.
Mm-hmm.
It's yeah, it's just it's like fascinating to think about how other people think. And when you get down to it, you know, the best design is the design that is just intuitive and simple for
Mm-hmm.
everyone. And I think
Yeah.
that app design is the epitome of that, where it's not necessarily doing crazy fancy things letting loose. Like it is very tight, but it's kind of it's nice, it's therapeutic, it's everything is like it's supposed to make sense, and you just hit a couple buttons and then you've, you know, ordered a pizza or something.
Right. Exactly.
Hmm.
And to me, app design takes left and right brain.
Hmm.
And that I think that's why I might have enjoyed that better than website design, because I really feel
Hmm.
like you in regards to website design. But with app design, you're right. It was tighter, but I could sit and write out things about steps and what the person was to do next using left brain, and then right brain making that aesthetically pleasing so that it is intuitive that this
Right.
is the next thing to do, you know.
Hmm.
But before now, I really hadn't thought about it that way. So thank you,
Yeah.
Carly.
I think it is. I probably have to attribute that to like being a type A personality. I love things neat and tidy. So yeah, that app, like the looking at all that code and web design is just like, ooh.
Yeah,
Which I know that you
yeah.
have to code apps too, but I don't do that.
Right, exactly. There
Front
are
end
people
for
for
me.
that. So you would say that the app design is your greatest fulfillment area?
No, I think that illustration is my favorite. Yeah, I
Okay.
think that um illustration and branding, which I do think kind of go hand in hand. Where it's like illustration is my like great like I'm at a loss for words. It's just it's when I'm able to like let loose the most. It took a lot for me to stop using pencils and just use pens, because I was
Mhm.
erasing too much. And the illustration, I would say my style is like very sketchy, and I go over lines often and X things out, and it's messy, but I really it's a great way for me to think through things. And then if I want to clean it up, I can, you know, put it in Illustrator or something and trace it there. But it's just a nice opportunity to do something with my hands and um, not be so engrossed in whether something should be like one pixel to the left or to the right.
Mhm.
And it's a good breakthrough. I also try to paint sometimes as well for that same reason. Um, And
It
I
sounds
do enjoy
like,
vector illustration too, like within the computer.
as I'm listening to you, it sounds like when you do illustrations, you're back at your parents' home in your room in your safe place.
Yeah. Yeah, it does feel like very, very homey, and um it's just like me and my notepad, and
Hmm.
it's exciting. Like it's just like when you make something that looks great, it's really fun. But then if you make something that looks bad, you just turn the page and it's a good opportunity for me to kind of like lose control a little bit. Like I said, type A personality, like things be nice and neat. But that is my like breakout moment where I can just relax a little bit.
Right. Okay.
Mhm.
So my next question for you is, what was your favorite 2020 project, or you didn't have one?
Let me think on that, I guess.
Because
um,
2020 has been such a blur for all of us
I know, yeah.
that asking that question, people are like, oh, okay. So I got to move the pandemic. I got to move the working from home. I got to move all that out of the way and then
Yeah.
figure out what it was. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's hard because it's one of those things where I feel like a lot of artists in general thought that, oh, I'll have so much free time to be productive at home, I'll do so much art. But then putting that pressure on you can be counterproductive.
Hmm.
Um, and so I did do a lot more freelance stuff this year. And one thing that I've really been enjoying, which is just kind of I make I help with social media posts for an Instagram account called BLM Nova, which was started
Hmm.
by a 17-year-old girl who she's still in high school in the Northern Virginia area. And that's been really nice because it feels good to do. It feels good to be a part of something that is
Hmm.
a part of your locality and for a good cause. Um, and it's very she's 17, she has no design background, she just had this idea and asked some designers and some copywriters to interview for positions. And it's all volunteer based, but it's been really cool working with people from different age groups.
Hmm.
We're all millennials or Gen Z, but like there are people who are still in high school, there are people in college, and then there are people post grad like me. um, and we've all been working together and just having fun with it. There's not really, we have kind of a loose brand guide, but pretty much everyone kind of just does their thing. We try to keep a color palette so that our Instagram feed looks all aesthetic-y, but
Right.
it's been really fun, and it's been interesting. I've learned a lot. The content creators for that Instagram account come up with these really great stories that I'd never heard of
Hmm.
about Black
Okay.
Americans. And
Okay.
yeah, I'm just going to shamelessly uh, say that everyone should follow BLM Nova.
I'm
Uh,
definitely gonna do that.
yeah, it's really great. So I guess that's been a fun project for me. It doesn't feel super work intensive. It's me and two other designers, so I only have to do a little bit of work for them every few weeks. But it's always nice, and it's a interesting story to follow and design for, because content drives design, as all my
Mhm.
professors nailed into my brain.
All right. So I saw a sentence that you wrote on your Behance in your portfolio about you that says, after a designer, you're a traveler and an activist. So you filled in your volunteer efforts as far as activism with BLM Nova. But where are your memorable places that you've traveled to, and how does this impact your design, if in any way?
Um, I guess the first thing that comes to mind is a few years ago, I went to Morocco, and did a tour of like a few different cities and like a small desert town there. And I've always loved, like in college, I always loved the textiles and style that are coming from like the Northern African countries in the Middle East.
Mm-hmm.
I think that like it's like Muslim inspired design usually. It's just the architecture and the patterns of the ceramics that they do, I think is so beautiful, and they just really use bright colors, that when you look at other cultures, especially Western cultures, you don't see a ton of that in the
Mm-hmm.
architecture. Like in, you could argue like with like stained glass windows in churches, you get your color there, but a lot of it is very like stark and dark. And I was just always very drawn to those like bright turquoises and cobalt
Mm-hmm.
blues. And there's a city actually, Chefchaouen, that every building is painted this light blue, because
Whoa.
they're kind of on the side of a mountain, and I believe that they're kind of nicknamed like the Sky City. They tried to paint
Mm-hmm.
the buildings all like the color of the sky. It's so beautiful, and just like
Wow.
colorful. I love it. Um, and I think that I tend to design very bright and very
Mm-hmm.
colorful.
Mm-hmm.
I love geometric patterns, things, simple illustrations, things like that, where it's very pleasing without doing too much.
Yeah.
Um,
A balance.
yeah, yeah. So I
Yeah.
think I think that that would probably be the most inspiring place I've been.
Okay.
I haven't been able to travel in a while for obvious reasons with the coronavirus. I'm itching to get back on a plane and go somewhere.
Well,
Um,
this has inspired me to do day tripping
mm,
because there are hidden gems around our
yeah,
area, um, where we've been ignoring them for so long because we are jet setting off to somewhere else. So
right.
it's kind of helped me appreciate more about where I am locally, like just riding past vineyards in
Yeah,
Virginia, you
yeah.
know,
There's so many.
there are so many, and to not even realize how many there are until you take that drive, and it's just peaceful as
Yeah,
well, you know. But and I think that's helped me with my cabin fever.
yeah. No, definitely. I'm fortunate enough to have my boyfriend, his grandfather owns a condo by the beach in Ocean City. So
Okay.
we've been able to do some weekend trips there, go work and spend the week there. The change of scenery is always really nice.
Yeah.
But do you really like wine? Do you have a favorite vineyard you've been to?
I don't have a favorite vineyard. I really like wine, but I'm wine ignorant. So to just speak about it, like beyond tasting it and knowing, oh, I really like this, I like the
Yeah,
taste, I'm totally, like totally ignorant about it.
yeah,
But I do have an appreciation for some good wine and
yeah,
being taught about it. That's what I liked about the vineyards. They tell you, okay, it was made with this, and we added this to give it this flavor. So it's the education of it that I love. You
yeah.
know.
Yeah, it's super interesting. I actually took a class in college about wine. It's a pretty popular like online class for Virginia Tech students.
Oh wow.
And it was great because it I'm mostly like you, where I can say like, oh, I like this or I don't, but you find, if you keep trying different wines, um like all of a sudden it will hit you and be like, oh, this tastes like raspberries or something like that. um and that's basically my extent of knowledge of wine. But because a lot of the college unfortunately left my brain, but I love wine, and we've also been doing quite a few of the vineyards, um we especially love the ones near Charlottesville, if you've ever tried any
Yes,
of
I've
those.
driven that way. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, those
yeah.
are great. Um,
Oh,
sorry, go ahead.
no, my dog, he erupted in barking. So, yay!
Oh,
Somebody knocked,
I miss having
probably
a
a
dog.
package. It's probably a package was delivered at the door, so that's okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we've had a great time chatting it out. And other than in the group, how can people get in touch with you?
So through Behance or LinkedIn is always a great way. I'm also on Instagram. I have a design account. It's Carly Frederick Design.
Okay.
Yeah, people can feel free to DM me there. Um, and yeah, I've just I you can Behance is probably the best, or LinkedIn for professional needs. But I'm also will love to chat with you on Instagram if anybody is interested.
Okay. Well, thank you, Carly. It's been great. And I look forward to connecting with you in the group.
Yes, I'm so excited. Thank you so much.
All right.